Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Thursday, October 15th, 2020. Looking at fire potential impacts over the next few days, we will see north to northwesterly winds this afternoon. They will be pretty strong. Gusts will be in the 30 to 45 mile an hour range, and this is occurring in an area with very dry fuels. So we move into Friday, we're not looking at any significant impacts, but that changes on Saturday, where we will see some showers with some snow in the higher elevations across central Idaho into western Wyoming, and then another day of gusty northerly winds with low relative humidity across that orange highlighted portion of Utah. Smoke conditions are looking really good across the entire Great Basin today. We're not expecting any smoke impacts. Initial attack yesterday was very light. As you can see, just a few fires, and we still have the East Fork fire. It's been incredibly dry across the Great Basin. You can see over the past 7 days, the conditions have been pretty good across most of Idaho into northern Nevada. And over the past 30 days, similar situation with the most moisture across the northern part of the Great Basin. But moving south into northern Utah, central and southern Utah, Nevada, just incredibly bone dry conditions, hardly any precipitation to speak of over the past month, and as a result, our fuels are just incredibly dry. If we look at the ERCs, you can see record high ERCs across much of central and southern Great Basin. And if we look at those a little more closely, GB27, which is west central Utah, is at record-setting levels, and GB1 in Idaho was incredibly high, and with the cooler, wetter weather last week has dropped down. The good news here is that our days are much shorter, giving us more chance to recover at night, shorter days. So that's the good news, but we really do still have very dry conditions across the central and southern part of the Great Basin. Today we have high pressure in place across the western part of the Great Basin. Really dry conditions, as you can see from those orange colors across the central and southern part of the Great Basin. But we also are kind of on the edge of the ridge, which means we have northerly, northwesterly flow, and that is what is leading to those wind concerns this afternoon. If you look at those winds in a little more detail, we're expecting 40 to 45 mile an hour wind gusts across portions of central and southern Utah and Nevada this afternoon. And taking a look at those relative humidity values, again, critically dry across large portions of the Great Basin. So move into Friday, keeping dry air in place across the central and southern part of the Great Basin. Winds decrease across the drier areas of the Great Basin on Friday. We will see gusty winds further north. You can see the wind gusts there expected across Idaho into western Wyoming on Friday, but we're not highlighting those due to the more moist conditions. Moving into Saturday, again, dry air in place across the central and southern part of the Great Basin. Some wind concerns across the Uinta Basin and central Utah mountains with those winds on Saturday. Wind speeds, pretty gusty winds expected on Saturday with those winds in the 40 to 50 mile an hour range for wind gusts. Over the next 3 days, it's really looking like it will continue to be quite dry across the Great Basin. Really just a small sliver of those central Idaho mountains could see precipitation in the next 3 days. As we move into Sunday, looking a little more moisture moving into the northern part of the Great Basin. Moving into Monday, models are suggesting that we will see a weather system begin to drop into the northern part of the Great Basin. So we would move back into a period of cooler, wetter weather across the north, but still just remaining incredibly dry across the southern part of the area. Tuesday, looking again at that cooler, potential for a cooler system. And finally moving into Wednesday, still keeping that low pressure in place. Over the next 7 days, even with that system moving through, it's just looking like it'll remain very dry across all but the far northern part of the Great Basin. In the 8 to 14 day period, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for below normal temperatures, which is good news. However, it doesn't look like we will see much in the way of moisture through the end of the month. And that's it for the forecast. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thank you.